All right, so one of the things I do when I'm going to be trading in the futures market is I will hit this little icon right here, which will take off all of my indicators so that I don't see anything. And I begin to go to the 15-minute time frame and I begin to mark up my own levels so that I say, okay, here's this and here's that. Okay, so and this is during the New York session and the Asian session. And I knew that it was going to shoot up, but unfortunately, job numbers is what impacted it because I called it last night. I said the market's going to shoot up on all these pairs, but job numbers held it back, and then I marked it up again, this New York, and I said, okay, it's still going up. And as you can see, that one popped. And this is without indicators. Look, every single one of them that I pre-marked up, they all popped. And this one blew past my resistance level because I marked it way back here when the market was way down here. And look, it not only hit there, but it blew past it, just like I told them it was going to do last night. Now I'm going to add in my indicators and look at what happened. Here's the breakout right there, going down to the trade right here, which by the way, those who were in the New York session, the only trade I took was this one. I told them, and I called it in advance. We didn't even wait for it to break. We took it when it was way back here because I told them, I said, okay, I see it dealing this pullback. And I said, I'd rather get in on this pullback right here. And we got in on this pullback because I said it's respecting my trend line. And so as long as it's respecting my trend line, I said, I'm going to put my stop. And you can see this little dotted white line right here. That's where I have my stop loss. Okay. So I said, if it pulls back and goes beyond this secondary pullback. So here's the first pullback. Here's pullback number one, pullback number two, pullback number three. Okay, so this is where price was, and it bounced off of this, respecting the trend line. I put my stop right here below trend line, pullback number two, and I said if this one pulls back below there, we need to just be out of this trade. And I said this will be the only trade anyway I'll take for today. I just need one good trade. But I said I'd rather get in on this pullback because now if it does shoot up and hit our target, which it did, I said we'll make plenty, plenty, plenty. And not only did it hit target number one, it blew to target number two. So that was that one. I marked this one. You can see where I marked this one up, and this one just catapulted. And I actually called this one out last night during the Asian session. Unfortunately, it pulls back first, but then it catapults up. Okay, and look at this one. And I'm holding this one. I don't know why I'm still in this one. Let me close this out. Um, but either way it goes, this one respected the trend line. This is a slow moving one, so it did move up. Oh, that's why I was getting because it's at the break line. It just came across the break line, and that's why I was going to hold it. But I don't feel like holding no trades. I'm done. All right, this one I called it, and I said, "Hey guys, this one got the slant pattern right here." I said, "We do have a candle close." It came back and look, catapulted, and look at this zone. Literally wrote this zone. I did this zone right in front of them. Showed them. I said, "Hey." And I told them, I said, sometimes you can draw one trend line, but I said, when it's wicking like this, the best thing to do is to draw a zone, and you'll see that every time it comes into the zone, it pops out of there. Look, literally, look, look, look. You can't just make this stuff up. This is just a skill that you learn over time. And that thing, look, bing, that was your entry. There it goes to the moon. Let's take a look at 6E. You can see I also marked that one up. Double bottom. Okay, go to the 15-minute time frame. You see that double bottom right there. And so I marked it up and I said, okay, this thing is going to possibly go up as well. And so when I add back in the indicators, let me do that real quick. There we go. All right. And look what happened. All right. So it went backwards just a little bit and then shot through the moon. So you would have waited for it to break out of here. And there you go. So either way it goes. I told them I'm not trading the indices today. I told them that in advance. I told them I don't trust anything I see with the indices because they've been too choppy. And that was a good call on that one. That was ugly. That's a good call on this one. You see it shot up, shot down, shot back up. Good call. Good job. Good job calling that one. Look at this. I told them. But you can see this one is bouncing off of my trend line right here that I drew right there. Okay. So I drew support right here, drew the trend line right here, and you see it's bouncing off of there and it is going up. And truth be told, I think this one probably will pop and go to the upside. So, I could take a trade on this one, couldn't I? Now that the news is over. But the bottom line is that I called every single one of these, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them in the right direction. And I took all of my indicators off first, and you can literally see how they respected exactly what I drew. So then when I put my indicators back on, now you can see why this my win rate is typically pretty high. Now there's going to be news events that's going to impact trades and stuff like that. There's really nothing you can do about that, but at least you have a narrative before you go to indicators, so you have an idea where this is going to go. So you're not just 100% dependent on indicators. You're actually saying, okay, are the indicators confirming what I see on the charts myself? That's the key. Are the indicators confirming what I see on the charts? Okay. All right. So this was just a little quick tutorial video. Again, if you guys want to join us, go to our website, superezforex.com, and you'll see there's an option for the futures trades on there, futures. If you want to be copying on our trades, which are I just sent out some more winning trades. They're in profit already. And my team did as well for the Super Easy Copycat. You'll go to our website, superezforex.com, and click on Super Easy Copycat, and you'll be able to choose whichever method, whichever pairs you want us to trade for you, and you'll just get copied on our trades. But look at this, it's respecting my trend line and literally bouncing up. It's almost at target 1, and I believe it will hit up to target 2. But this is the point. This is the point. Okay. But again, look, I marked it up beforehand. Okay. All right, you guys. Supereasyforex at gmail.com. I'm sorry, supereasyforex.com. Thank you.